All right, welcome in everyone to the Big Blue for You podcast. I am your host, Luke Emberton, as always. And today is kind of how should I describe it? A bittersweet day in a lot of ways because John Calipari is leaving the University of Kentucky men's basketball program for Arkansas. Gross. I have said before on this podcast that I wanted Cal gone, so I am happy about that he's gone, for one, because it feels like we need to move in another direction anyways. So, with John Calipari leaving and heading to Arkansas, the buyout question's gone. Everything is off the table now, right? It's all gone. He's out of here. He's going to Arkansas. He's going to go do Woo Pig Sooie, which I don't know why you'd want to do that. But just like a week after, he and Mitch Barnhart do a little TV interview with WKYT and talk about how he's committed to the program. He leaves a week later. That is hilarious and just it's wild. This is wild times we are living in. It is supposed to be announced tomorrow, according to Pete Thamel, that John Calipari is, in fact, going to take the Arkansas coaching job on a 5-year deal with $8.5 million per year. So about $1 million less than we were paying him. Thank God we're not paying that to him anymore. This is crazy. I never thought, if you had told me in 2015, after we were 38-0, that this is the last time we would make a Final Four with Cal, and that this is how it would end, I would have told you you're crazy. But here we are. And I think it's important to kind of talk about, in some ways, how we got to this point. How did we get from a guy who was the most beloved coach probably in Kentucky, in modern Kentucky basketball history, outside of when Pitino had it rolling? He's the most beloved coach we've ever had. Beloved figure in the state of Kentucky as a whole. How does he go from here to coaching Arkansas? I think it's important to realize that there are a few things that happened. One, Dwayne Peevy leaving to take the DePaul athletic director job, I think really hurt John Calipari in a lot of ways. Cal has not had any relationship with Mitch Barnhart. No matter what either of them tell you, they can't stand each other. You know Mitch Barnhart is happy that Cal's gone. Secretly, whether he would publicly say it or not, he's happy John Calipari's gone. Okay, it's just that simple. He's very happy that Cal is gone, and he's happy to be moving in a new direction with Kentucky men's basketball. Dwayne Peevy was the go-between. He was the guy that would take all the Cal-isms and all this John Calipari stuff and bring it in a way to help Mitch understand, look, this is who he is, but we're good. When Dwayne Peevy left, that went away. The relationship with anything in the athletic department went away with Dwayne Peevy. I think Kenny Payne leaving really hurt John Calipari a lot because Kenny Payne was the go-between for players. The assistant coach is your friend. The head coach is, kind of the big bad bully, whatever, right? So when John Calipari would be very hard on players and they'd say, this is killing me, I can't do this, maybe this isn't for me, Kenny Payne would be there. When you needed to shoot in the gym at 2 a.m, who was there? Kenny Payne was. Not having that and having the terrible staff that we've had for the past 4 or 5 years has also led to this. And also, I think John Robick leaving. John Robick was the basketball mastermind, the ultimate game planner, could take this big, complex game plan off the blackboard, look at 19 to 20-year-old kids and say, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to win, and break it down into a 5-minute speech pregame, nice and simple. It is uncanny, his ability to do that. And John Rudnick not being here, I think, also has led to us getting into this spot where we are now without a coach. For now. The Cal era had great highs and great lows. I will remember John Calipari fondly, but I will also remember the last 4 years. I will remember this last 4 years of his tenure, no matter what happens. I will remember the dysfunction. I will remember the irritation that I have had, and I will one day and have his jersey retired, because he does deserve that. He brought us a national championship, 4 Final Fours, 7 Elite Eights, 8 Sweet 16s. He had a great run, but, it was time. It really felt like, to me, it was time to move on anyways. And, I feel kind of bad for Mitch Barnhart in all of this, because Mitch, bringing him back this year was not a popular decision. Not amongst the fans, not amongst the boosters, not in the athletic department. It was not a popular decision to bring him back. But Mitch stuck his neck out for a guy he doesn't particularly like, and he gets screwed over because Cal just left. He just left. He just went and took the job. So, it's kind of where we are right now. Look, the last 4 years we know have been a disaster, and it was time. John Calipari's probably going to do well at Arkansas. I'm here to tell you, he's probably going to do well. In some ways, I hope he doesn't, because it's a conference opponent and I want him to be terrible. But I won't be surprised if he does well. He would not have been able to. He wouldn't have done that here. He wouldn't have done it here. So if he wins and people start saying, "Oh, see, we shouldn't have gotten rid of this guy. Look what he's doing now." Well, he wouldn't have done that here. He wouldn't have. It's that simple. We needed new blood. And speaking of new blood, who is going to be the new blood? The new face, the new coach of Kentucky men's basketball. Who is going to be the 8th head coach in our history? Just 8. That's crazy. We've only had 8 head coaches. In all these years, we've only had 8 of them. Who is going to take the mantle and be the guy here in Lexington moving forward? I think there's a few unrealistic options that you make say no. One of them already said no during the pregame for the national championship game, which, by the way, is going on. And actually, this game is so impactful for who could be the next coach here. It's so impactful for who could be the next coach. Because if UConn loses, maybe you can convince Danny Hurley to come here. I don't think you do. I don't think it would happen. I think he would use it as leverage to get more money from UConn. But you could have a guy that's been to back-to-back national title games and has a title. And by the way, as I am live streaming this here, UConn is up 34-30 with 2 minutes left in the first half of the national championship game. See how that one plays out. But I think he's an unrealistic option. Jay Wright already said on national television, no, very firmly said no. So that's 2 basically no's. I don't think Danny Hurley would say yes. I think you call Brad Stevens and make him say no. Again, he's not going to say yes, but you make him say no. And then you kind of get to this more realistic tier of coaches that you could possibly get. I think Nate Oates is one, although he just put out a statement saying that he is committed to Alabama basketball. He's committed to Alabama basketball until Kentucky calls. When Kentucky calls, you answer. This is Kentucky, man. This is the premier place to coach college basketball. Nate Oates might not be interested. I want him to be interested, but he might not be interested. And if he's not interested, there's nothing you can do. Which means you're now getting down to the Scott Drews, who I think is probably going to be the coach. If you're making me guess, if I had to put my life savings on it, I would say that it's going to be Scott Drew. He's close to Mitch Barnhart. Barnhart obviously likes him if they're close. He feels like a Barnhart type of guy anyways. He's kind of boring. He's kind of boring, but he's a very, very good coach. He won a national title at Baylor. At Baylor, he won a title. He could win a national title here. I would be very happy with that hire. It's not my first choice, but Scott Drew is a good option. Billy Donovan is probably going to get interest as well. I think there's going to be a timing issue because, the Bulls are going to be in the play-in game. But if he says, give me until this date, then maybe you wait. But I don't think you can in the transfer portal era. You need a coach ASAP. We need somebody here. We need to know who's going to be the guy. I do think it's going to be Scott Drew. I think Scott Drew is probably the guy to go get. I would like Billy Donovan as well. I know he's been out of college basketball for a while, but he's Billy Donovan, man. This guy won 2 titles at Florida. This guy would be amazing here for 10 years. And then I think you're going to be talking about guys like maybe Mark Few. I don't think he would leave Gonzaga. He's got a retirement job. He could coach there forever. But we could offer him so much more money than Gonzaga ever could. So maybe you go and get Mark Few, although I don't think that will happen after the whole DUI thing. I think that's kind of off the table. But I'm telling you, I would really like Mark Few. It's a big guy. He's been to 9 Sweet 16s. This guy can coach, man. He's doing it at Gonzaga. He could win a national title here. Now, if you don't get one of those 4 guys that I just mentioned, then you're getting into guys that I really probably don't want, but I still think could have success here. Now you're getting to the Chris Beards, the Bruce Pearls, the Shaka Smarts of the world. I don't really want those guys, but they could have success here. And by the way, whoever we hire, I'm going to hope wins every game, and I hope that they win a national title, because if the coach that we hire fails, that does us no favors. We need whoever we hire to be successful. I think the guy with the most likely chance to be successful of the realistic options is Nate Oates. I think Scott Drew is probably second. Billy Donovan would definitely be successful, but I don't see him taking this job. I mean, 3rd time's the charm. He was an assistant under Rick Pitino here, so he has ties to the university. But I just don't see him coaching here, man. Why would he? Why would he leave the NBA to come coach here? Mark Few would be great, but, if it's not great, it could be a real disaster because apparently he likes to drink, and drinkers don't do well. They don't do well in Lexington when things aren't going well. A la Eddie Sutton, a la Billy jumping a fountain Gillespie. So it's kind of bittersweet. I'm happy and I'm excited for a new era. I'm sad that it's ended the way it has with John Calipari. And the fact that he's going to a conference rival kind of sucks. But you know what? I'm really not worried because I don't know how well he's really going to do there. Like, he'll do well, but he ain't winning a national title there. He might be able to squeak out a Final Four, but I don't think he could have done that here, so it doesn't matter. He did everything, whatever he was going to accomplish, he had already done here. And it was time to move on. So here's to the Kentucky coaching search. Next time I check in with you, it will probably be talking about the Kentucky who we hired. So I think it's going to be Scott Drew. I would put an obscene amount of money on it being Scott Drew. And if it is Scott Drew, I will be happy because I think it's a good hire. I think he's a very good coach. He's done a great job at Baylor, taking a program that had been to one NCAA tournament. He took over in 2003. From 1950 until 2003, they had one NCAA tournament appearance, and this guy won a title there and has consistently gotten a very bad program to the NCAA tournament and consistently has them in the top 25. That is a guy that could do very, very well here. So I'm excited for the coaching search. I am also a little bit nervous because if we don't make a good hire, it could be trouble. But I am very, very happy for this new era in a lot of ways. Again, I will celebrate the good times that were with John Calipari. I will not have sort of this bad image of him in my mind. Am I happy he's gone? Yes. Am I ready for something else? Yes. And here's to hoping it's Nate Oates or Scott Drew, man. Really, preferably Nate Oates. Nate Oates, Scott Drew, Billy Donovan, or Mark Few. I'll take any of those four. You give me one of those four guys, and I'll say, fuck it, let's go win. That's going to be my take on all this. By the way, at halftime, UConn is up 36-30. So if you're rooting for Danny Hurley to come here, which I don't think he would come anyways, but if you gave me the choice between if UConn loses and you get Danny Hurley, you take that in a heartbeat because he's the best coach in the country right now. I don't think it will happen. I think they're probably going to blow Purdue out here in the second half because Zach Edey went off and they're still down 6. So there's that. But again, here's to hoping for a quick and effective coaching search from Mitch Barnhart. I know people will point to Barnhart having a few bad hires early in his career and the Kyra Elzy hire, but I would say the Billy Gillispie and the Joker hires were very early in his tenure. He's much more seasoned at this. He found John Calipari. He found Mark Stoops. He found Craig Skinner for the volleyball program. He found Nick Mingione for baseball, who, by the way, is in the top 10. Shout out Kentucky baseball. Another series sweep over a top 25 team in Alabama. Salute to you, Nick Mingione. You're killing it, brother. He found this new women's coach, Brooks. Look, I think he will hire the right guy. He has done a very good job at hiring coaches in his tenure. I'm excited. I'm ready. Let's see where this goes, man. This has been a wild day so far. Wild way to start the week. Hopefully we have a coach by Friday. If we do, I'll be back to talk to you all. But if you haven't already, you need to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Unless you're an idiot, then you know what you do. You know what you do. You know what you do? You smash that dislike button. You tell me I'm an idiot in the comments. Don't be mindless sheep, people. And with that, I am out of here signing off on the Big Blue for You podcast. Y'all have a great day. Y'all have a great day. Question authority. And with that, I'm out of here.